So congrats on the Pretty Messed Up podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why now? Like, did you guys talk about doing this for a while?
Go ahead, AJ.
You know what? This was kind of a, how do you say it? I mean, it was kind of a
casting.
Well, yeah, casting, but it was also kind of just something that just came in naturally. So basically, long story short, Cheryl was already talking to iHeart about doing her own podcast. Myself and Renee were doing the same separately. And Amy Sugarman, our producer, was like, this could be a really good matchup. All three of you guys have very similar background stories. You're all sober, this, that, and the other. So we actually met via Zoom back in March, officially, the three of us talking on Zoom. And like instantly, we all felt like, okay, wow, this is going to work out really well because like I have no filter. Cheryl definitely has no filter. Renee is just the almighty wise Renee, and I freaking love it. And it's just a great combination of three people that pretty messed up. I mean, we all are. Everyone's got their own little messed up stories, I'm sure, in the entire world. But it's a great outlet for us to be vulnerable, to basically share our experience, strength, and hope, just in life, not necessarily only about recovery, but just in life, talking about mental health, talking about recovery, and just talking about life on life's terms. Take our celebrity hats off for 5 seconds and just be who we are, just normal people doing normal shit. So
and to just show everyone that like it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to feel the feelings that you're feeling and to be able to not label it or judge it as being shameful or feeling like you're the only person going through whatever it is that you're going through, because a lot of our stories are similar, not the same, but similar. But I also believe that it's because of your failures, if you want to call it, or because of your downfalls that make you, and I think that is something we all need to stick true to and stand by that, because there's only one you, right? So.
Well, and you guys got paired together on Dancing with the Stars, but you've been talking in March. So, geez, I wonder how that came to be.
Oh, God. Well, you know what? I don't think, AJ, it would have happened if I didn't somehow get to Amy have Amy get to you to say for you to request me.
Honest to God, I don't think it would have, because I wasn't even going to ask. I hear you weren't even
and you weren't even my partner, I don't think, originally.
No, I would have been. I honest to God think they might have put me with Sharna because of Nick.
No, definitely not. But I think you were with Britt.
I did ask not to be with Sharna, not because I don't love Sharna, but I asked because I didn't want to follow in Nick's footsteps.
No, but they wouldn't do that.
Myself.
They wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, the last time I danced with someone from a boy band, it was season 2.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a long day.
But I've also had football players. Right.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I guess it depends on the personality, but I actually think you were going to dance with Britt.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So you put in the special request to get AJ and it worked.
Yeah, you just gotta have to like kind of. We didn't even have each other's phone number. Yeah, we literally. I didn't want to be that girl. Like, yeah, you want to? Because what if he didn't want to dance with me?
Right.
I had nothing to compare to, so I was like, sure, let's go.
You had no choice. No kidding.
I'm really glad that I did, and it's been an amazing journey, and I have now gained a new, very, very special person in my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Your elimination seemed to really bum you guys out, surprise you. So talk to me a little
bit.
Isn't
it crazy when you look at it back? You're like, it's just a dance show, but then like we're so invested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty. It's funny, like when it was happening live, it didn't really hit me. And then when I went back to my trailer, when I went back to my trailer to go change, I called my wife and I told her, and I definitely got a little choked up and got a little upset because I was like, man, I both of us put all this time and effort into it. And I really thought in my gut, I felt like, man, we could really see this thing all the way through. And I also felt personally a little bit misjudged on that performance because where the actual ballroom routine started, it was as perfect as it could be. I felt like I was judged on the icing on the cake, which had nothing to do with the Beanie's waltz. But that's all.
But another thing is like, okay, look, it's television. I get it. But at the end of the day, it's like a double-edged sword, because it's like, okay, yes, it's TV, it's a variety show. We're trying just to bring people, smiles, and it's like, it's this light thing. But then you have to work 7 days a week, and you cannot skip a day. It's like, it's on you if you skip a day. You're gonna be the one dancing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they get you. But then also, if you like your partner, which in this case, obviously, we had great chemistry and we enjoyed each other's company, but also I had so much belief, and I knew that he could totally do it, right? Like I was just, and it was a great challenge for me selfishly as well, just to get the best as I could get out of AJ. And with that came all this emotional, as it happens, right? Like, because he was so able and allowing and willing to be vulnerable as well. And so like, when you have a partner like that, right? And then your time is cut short, it is freaking upsetting. I mean, there's nothing you can say, but especially with the amount of hours and literally blood, sweat, and tears we put through.
Yeah. Would you say, Cheryl, this was the most shocking and hardest elimination that you've been a part of? And if so, why?
I would say Juan Pablo was up there as well when we didn't make the finals. We had a perfect 60, and but the bond was obviously different, you know what I mean? Like it was, but he was definitely like, oh my God, the guy was, of course he was going to win, like Bobby Bones, like really. But again, like I say, they compare you to you. And then honestly, if people think you're saved, if people think that people are voting for you, you're out if no one votes, right? So who knows how it works, girlfriend. At the end of the day, you can only control what you can control, which is the Viennese votes.
Yeah. And to be honest, I was already considering myself to be a winner by doing the show sober. Yes. Doing the show sober.
And your first year of sobriety, doing Dancing with Stars, I would never recommend it.
During 2020, during a pandemic. Okay. Yeah. Let's just keep adding more stress and pressure.
Yes.
And I was able to put together a year sober 2 days ago. So
you deserve 10 mirror balls for that.
I know. Yeah. I want to talk to you guys about that once we, obviously, since dancing just wrapped, it's so many great topics to get into. But I have to ask, when you guys found out about Chriselle and Keo, were you shocked, or did you guys know what was happening behind the scenes?
Wait, is it official?
Yes, it's official.
Oh.
Have you guys seen another picture of them anytime soon?
They posted on social last week.
Really? I have to check this out. I don't even check Instagram.
Chriselle posted on social last week, like the cat.
But was that the one and only though? The one and only picture?
I would have to check, but she said the cat's out of the bag. So
that's fine, but it's been a week. I'm kidding.
She made it official. So were you guys surprised, or did you guys notice some flirting going on behind the scenes?
You see, it's so hard because we're not supposed to be with each other, period.
Well, and I'm not focusing on anybody else except Cheryl and me.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on.
Keo would come in. Keo would come in and help us shoot a couple of things, but like again, because like we've got COVID officers breathing down our neck, and then he's wearing a mask and a shield. I can't even hear what he's saying. It's so impossible to actually, unless if you're like being, under quarantine together under the same roof, it's hard to kind of know what's going on. But like, I'm not shocked. They're both beautiful people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys feel like the right couple did end up winning? I mean, I know you guys really wanted to win. We saw you be so, but I think this was the most bummed I've seen you, just as a viewer and a fan who covered the show.
Look, you know what? Like I said from the very beginning of the season, may the best man or woman win. And I think, honest to God, look, I have nothing to compare it to because I had never done the show before, and I literally had never met anyone on the show except for Nelly. Nelly and I have known each other for years, but every celebrity was so sweet and they were so endearing.
Yeah.
And it was such a great cast, which sucked that we couldn't.
It's been a while since that's happened. Like the camaraderie, this would have been the cast where like it was, it'll just remind me of like Leah Remini and Jack Osbourne season where we would always just like hang out. Like we wanted to like take breaks at the same time. We wanted to do this at the same time. Like we were a constant, group of friends, which we are still to this day. And this is what it would have been. It still is in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm super, super stoked for Caitlin. I thought she did a fantastic job. She had some ups and downs, and the judges were also hard on her as well.
She was vulnerable though.
And I'm stoked for Artem. I know this is his first win, right? So, and he is such a stand-up dude. All the pros were great, but I mean, I feel like out of all the pro male dancers, I feel like Artem and I were really kind of like really bonded well. He's just a sweet guy, and I'm really, really happy for both of them.
Same.
Honestly.
No, I was like, for the professional side, it was either for me, Sasha, or Artem, and I'm just happy that Artem, especially with like everything that had happened last season, right? To him not being asked back, to now, like, you know what, I'm winning this thing. Like, I'm so proud of him. And I've also known him the longest out of all the pros, so I have a special place for him in my heart for sure.
Yeah. Did Nick Carter have to convince you to do it? Did you get advice from him beforehand? And if so, what was that?
Is that my phone or yours?
That's not me.
Oh, okay.
No,
thank you. Sorry.
So right before I started rehearsals back at the end of August, I reached out to Nick just to get some insight. And he's like, look, dude, whatever you've heard, whatever you think, it's worse. It's more than that. Be prepared to, like.
At least he got you ready.
Yeah, he's like, look, your life is no longer your own. You're going to be, it's 7 days a week.
I would love to be a fly on the wall when Dina Katz meets with you guys, because I want to know what she says.
Oh,
like when she's like, you could take days off.
Well, no. So like Nick had told me, like there was a couple of moments during his season where he was burnt during the week, and he told Sharna, told the producers, I'm taking the day off. I have to, for my own mental peace of mind. I'm a workaholic.
What?
I'm a workaholic, so I don't like to take days off.
When you wanted to take a second off, I'm like, what? No.
Well, there are basically in the very beginning, it was five days on, 1 day off, and then once the show started, it was 7 days, go. But again, you've only got a certain amount of time at the dance studio to learn, and that's it. So and then towards the end there, it's learning 2 dances and stuff like that. So it was a hell of a ride, but I'll tell you what, I had a blast. I gained an amazing friendship out of it. And I was able to do it sober, and I was able to learn a lot more about myself from doing the show. Believe it or not, the show is not really all about dancing. It's a journey of self-discovery and to really kind of broaden your own personal spectrum. It really is.
If you allow it. It's unfortunate when you don't allow it, though, because it transforms your whole life. If you
fight it, I can't imagine what your season would be like if you're fighting it.
Remember the first couple of weeks, I was like, stop fighting it. Trust the process.
Oh yeah. I was, if I had to hear trust the process one more time, I was like,
I'm going to tattoo it on my head for you.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to tattoo frames somewhere. I'm still doing that.
Oh God. Put it right here. Because this is what the problem was for you.
Yeah, exactly. My lats. Damn my lats.
The podcast.
Frame around your back.
This last episode was a lot about sobriety. Congratulations, AJ. I know on December 8th was your 1 year. So how did you celebrate, and what does that mean to you?
So celebration wise, I actually did a Instagram live to start off the day, and I had a sober toast with all of my fans. I thought it was something sweet because they've been on this journey with me for the last 27 years. And they've seen me at my best and they've seen me at my worst. And then literally in the middle of my Zoom AA meeting that I do every day since the pandemic started, my wife and my kids came out, my sponsor, they all came out with a cake for me. And everyone saying happy birthday. And then I broke my diet that night and we had Taco Bell, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. But you know what? It's just to be able to stay sober for a year during, in my opinion, since I've been alive, the most challenging year ever, between politics, between a pandemic, between racial injustice, between all this insanity that's happened this year, to be able to stay sober and to really commit to it is an absolute blessing, and it's a testament to this program.
I wonder if, like for me, I feel the same way, that I actually have enjoyed this year more than most, the last, I can say 5-6 years in a way, because I've done a lot of internal work. And I wonder if like addicts, right? People with the disease of alcoholism, if they also feel the same way, because we are naturally, right? Like most, I wouldn't say most, I don't want to put a label on it, but like in a way there's a safety, right? Net.
Yeah. Well, because most of us as addicts, we use the drinking and the drugs to escape reality and to not face our problems head on.
Right. So social anxiety. No need for that anymore.
Yeah. So like now, when you have the time to really look at yourself in the mirror and go, what am I really doing with my life? What am I really doing to help better myself? How am I really growing inside? Well, now I have time to, because I'm not going to punch in my clock.
And you don't feel bad for not going out. Like there's nothing there's nothing to do, actually.
Exactly.
There's nothing to do.
Right. So what other topics are we going to tackle on the podcast? And talk to me about guests you guys are going to be having.
Yeah.
Hoping like on Backstreet Reunion maybe.
We're having Nelly. Nelly's coming on. Actually, we're interviewing him today. That's going to air Monday. And then we, my best friend Leah Remini, she's actually supposed to be next week. I think she's now January. But then we're going to have like lots of professionals as well, like therapists come on and more of the mental health side. But then lots of like lighthearted, fun people, you know, like
also
Steve-O,
just
right? Steve-O's coming.
Oh, Steve-O's going to be coming on the show, and then also just the three of us
Chris
just
Jenner.
kind of chatting it up. Just the three of us. When the three of us get going and there's no guest,
this last episode,
who knows where it's going to go? It's freaking hilarious. I mean,
and I love Renee because Renee just brings it back down. Like I'll be talking one thing about bananas, and then it's mental health. I'm like, how did I get to bananas? You know, like, and he'll like bring us back down to earth.
What are you guys going to talk to Kris Jenner about?
We already shot that one, right? So it's funny because we go way back, right? I obviously danced with Rob Kardashian, and Kim did the show, and then they know. How do you know Kris?
I've known Kris for years. I almost bought her house about 15 years ago, and we've stayed friends ever since. And she is just one of the sweetest, most intelligent women
she really is
I've ever met. She is such a smart lady, and she's such a good mom. And just a good all-around person.
Yeah. Like literally, I'm
awesome.
Curious to see how she does it all. Like, and actually genuinely has a relationship with her kids. I mean, that's hard to balance.
Right. And talk to me about how hard it was to be sober during quarantine. Because if you think about it, people who aren't battling addiction, I have so many friends who are like, oh my God, I downed a whole bottle of wine today, downed a whole bottle of wine the next day because we're home. We can't go out. People are getting depressed. So talk to me about how much more challenging this year maybe has or hasn't been because of that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure for a lot of people out there that are either already active in their disease or maybe don't know that they're an alcoholic or a drug addict yet. You know, because let me tell you, that stuff can sneak up on you really quick. But, you know, for anyone that's really having any kind of issues and or thinks that they need help, you can call, like, for example, the AA hotline. They can tell you about a list of Zoom meetings that you can get to, NA, CODA, whatever your vice is, as well as
on our podcast.
Yeah, listen to the show and or reach out to people that you trust that you can be vulnerable with, whether professional or family, and people that you can talk to, because look, nobody has to go through this alone. We're all in this together. So whatever it is that you're going through,
you just need to get it out. You need to get it out. Like,
talk about it. Talk about it. Don't hide behind a bottle or a drug or, whatever it is. I mean, it's hard. I get it. But, talk about it.
And then also, like, ask yourself, like, am I doing this because of, it makes me feel good. It's numbing a certain void in my life because of this pandemic. That's a hint, that maybe, you need to try and step back if you can and take control, because the only thing that you can control is yourself, right? So
did you find it harder for you guys for you to stay sober this year because of quarantine, or was it easier?
No, I thought for me it was a blessing.
I now have put my addiction into ornaments clearly behind me. So, and then I also do diamond painting. Like, literally, I'm into arts and crafts, like stuff that I have. Literally, if you told me this 10 years ago that, Cheryl, you're going to be sitting at a desk for hours, gluing rhinestones on a canvas and be addicted to this, I would have been like, you're out of your freaking mind. You're so crazy. Absolutely not.
No, I mean,
so it's another, yes. Is it another maybe addiction? Absolutely. But it's a lot healthier. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you're not hurting yourself or anyone else by doing it. And she's really dope. It's really, really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, look, obviously, I'm sure everybody wanted to now going back to March, invested in Zoom.
Right,
because it's blown up,
or become a therapist, but yeah,
who would have known? But no, I mean, literally since I got back from our South American leg, March 16th, March 19th, we went into the lockdown, and literally that same day, a bunch of my sober friends and I started a Zoom meeting every day at 4:30, and it's been going on every single day, 7 days a week. And the fact that I'm not on the road right now, to be able to be home and to really have to look at myself and face this thing head on, but to have an outlet with my sober friends. And then now Cheryl being a big part of my life, and her and I be able to share our experience, strength, and hope with each other on and off the show. It's been a great time. To be honest, I see the silver lining in this pandemic for me personally. I know a lot of people are going through a really hard time, but it's
it's the way you see things. It's your perspective.
Yeah,
you could look at the glass half full or half empty.
This has been a really good thing for me, because had I been on the road, who knows if I would have stayed sober, Well, I just don't know.
Speaking of on the road, I feel like now I've got to put this on, because
I'm so jealous
all
of
the fans
that.
want to know, AJ, is there going to be some new Backstreet Boys music in 2021?
So there is going to be some AJ solo music in 2021.
Really, really good, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. And we are obviously still in the middle of our DNA World Tour. Hopefully, if things go the way we'd like them to, concerts are going to be the very last thing to come back after the pandemic is kind of hopefully subdued to a certain degree. So hopefully, the next thing on our list is to finally have a Christmas album, which we've never done to this day.
Nick told me that in like May.
That's so crazy.
I know.
weird.
So we're still talking about it, trying to find out how we're going to make it happen for next year.
Start now.
But we're like talking about songs now. So next year, I'd say that the next thing you'll hear as a group will be a Christmas album.
Okay,
but
Mariah Carey.
Okay, so you guys are hoping to go back on tour though once the pandemic ends.
Yes, absolutely, because
I'll be there choreoring and making sure they all stay in a line.
Yes, because we still have our second U.S. leg run. We have our second run, hopefully in Europe. We have
awesome.
We have to go back to Latin America as well, and then the rest.
Honestly,
of the world.
When this is all over, people are definitely. there's going to be no. People are going to be buying tickets. This is all everyone's missing is actual live performances. I think.
Oh yeah, and then eventually, hopefully, God willing, going back to Vegas and having a nice residency there again down the road would be nice as well. But we all have our own individual endeavors as well as the group. So you'll be seeing a lot from me. Very soon. I just launched my first nail polish line, Ava Dean.
Show your fingers.
Things are looking up in the world. So it's going to be a lot from AJ next year. So
very cool. And Cheryl, would you ever maybe cross over and be a judge on the show for your future endeavor?
Are you kidding? Your words to freaking the executive producer's brain.
Yes, she should be.
This has been something I've been manifesting for years now. But yeah, my hips are definitely going to slap me across the face if I decide to dance again. So with my tendonitis, and it's time to now just judge people instead of being the one to be judged, I guess.
Do you think this was your last season?
I can't predict the future. I don't know. My body is saying it was my last season seasons ago. But obviously it's season 30. Like, of course, like I want to celebrate such a huge milestone. And I want to be there, but I would love to try and be there at a different and have a different role. I've been doing this for 23 seasons and, it'd be nice to get a chance, to be a fourth judge. They've had 4 judges before.
It's well overdue for her. She absolutely.
Or even a mentor. Like, I think that the couples, like, for instance, like Caitlin, like, the frustration she had with Carrie Ann, like I could have at least gone into their rehearsals and talked to her about it, like woman to woman, like this is what she's talking about,
For sure. Well, new AJ and Backstreet Boys music, hopefully in 2021, a new role maybe for you. The podcast pretty messed up. Everyone's going to go download it. Thank you guys so much.
We got my Cheryl Burke masks. We got those really glitzy, glammy, sparkly masks. Go to baileyblueclothing.com.